you for tuning in to Sundays at the Square. I am your host, Toni Ringgold. Hope everyone has been having a wonderful holiday season. And it is 2018, folks. Woo! I know I am so happy about the new year. 2017 was a doozy. Oh my goodness. I don't know about you guys, but I had so many transitions and so many things happen in 2017. I was ready for a new year to begin. I am just elated about 2018. How y'all feel about those snow flurries? We got a little snow. I wanted it to stick for a little bit, but it didn't, snow for like 2 seconds and then it was done. But anyway, I had a really, really good time during my holiday season. Christmas was lit. New Year's Eve was litty lit. So had a great time with family and friends, and I hope that you all did as well. With that being said, we are kicking the new year off with a bang. I have a brand new guest with me. She is a beautiful young lady, very accomplished, and she is a part of an event that has been going on for over 16 years, nearly 2 decades. That's what I'm talking about. That's some real longevity. I want to introduce Miss Jasmine Purnell.
Hello. How are y'all?
Yes. So, Jasmine, I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself and tell the world who you are.
Hi, I am Jasmine Purnell. I am daughter of Joy Purnell, and we are running the MLK Step Up Fest High School Step Show 2018.
Yes. Awesome. So, the MLK Step Up Fest, this is 2018. Now, what year did this actually start?
The show started in 2001.
2001. So how old were you?
I was 11.
You were 11
Yes.
years old. And so, of course, you being 11 years old, you couldn't have been the one who started it. So tell me about the founder and who the founder of the Step Show is to you.
Well, the founder is Joy Purnell.
Yes.
And, of course, she's my mother. Superhero to me, of course. She's an educator. She taught at so many high schools. Killeen 9th Grade Center before it turned into Harker Heights High School. She taught at Heights. She was an administrator. She was a club owner, a promoter. She brought concerts. It's just awesome.
Yeah, you were telling me that she brought Frankie Beverly and Mays down.
She did. They did a tribute to her at some point a couple years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So your mom, she established this step show. And, of course, like you said, she's done so many other things. Why did she establish it?
She established it to provide a positive space for the students. That students are always her first and foremost thing. And she just wanted everyone to be able to showcase their talents. Everybody doesn't play basketball or sports. Everybody doesn't sing, but everybody can do something. And she wanted them to be able to show that off to the community and have a community event where everyone's like loving on each other,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I actually in high school, honey, I was on the step team.
Okay.
Yes, honey. We were State of Fire Light, honey. You couldn't tell us what I did. And we did the competitions and the step shows and stuff. It's always so much fun doing
So
those.
much fun.
Tell me about it. Okay, so give me your young perspective when it first kicked off and you saw all these people. What were you thinking in your mind when you saw all of that?
I mean, it was so dope, and I don't know if you say
I say dope all the time.
but it was so dope. It was something that you always looked forward to, and your friends were like, "Hey, what time are you gonna meet up there? Let's go!" Like it was so great, and it was because the kids were older, so we would watch them and just be in awe of how amazing they were and how they were breaking the stage. It was really dope. Growing up.
And so, you grew up and you became an adult.
Unfortunately,
yes. And then, unfortunately, I know you could tell a little bit about your mom and how you ended up taking over everything.
Well, I mean, she ran it pretty much up until then, and she passed away 2014, so we took 2015
I'm sorry
off.
to hear that.
We were making it through.
Yeah.
But we took 2015 off, and even the couple years before that, she was calling all the shots. I would just help a little bit, And so after that, it just made sense to keep it going in 2016. Like it was just understood that was going to happen.
It was going to happen, and you knew that you needed to keep that legacy going.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. You know, may she rest in peace. And, you know, that is always a tough thing. But when you look at something like this and you see that it's still going, it's like she's living on through it. And so, you know, that's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. So tell me about the people that we could expect to see. Who are some of our pillars when it comes to this festival?
Well, of course, you have the number one MC, Mr. Mookie.
Yes,
he's always there since the beginning.
Yes, he is the bomb.
Absolutely. You have Miss Gay is always helping us with our stage management. You have Miss Chandra Shields Charles, who's always getting our judges together. It's just so many awesome people. Miss Baldwin. It's just so many people in the community that help the community, the Killeen Greeks all come through and table so that they can show the scholarships for the kids that are going off to college. They judge, they do. It's just so many people help. My family helps. Everyone. It's just like a community event. It's a community effort, you know?
Yes. Tell me about education and how important it is for you. You kind of share with me a little bit about when we talk about Greeks, for some of those who, if you're just tuned in, you're tuned in to Sundays at the Square, and I'm your host, Toni Ringgold. Some of these things, this might be foreign to some of our listeners. They're like, Greeks? What do you mean Greeks? We're not in Greece. Explain a little bit about what that is, and explain a little bit about STEP itself.
Well, I guess I could start with STEP itself. STEP is basically rooted in the African American history, in that it's a dance that occurred in the African continent areas.
Yeah.
The different tribes and everything. It's rooted in those type of dances. Boot kick, all of that. Yes. And so the Greek community, which is sororities and fraternities, African American sororities and fraternities specifically in colleges, they adapted that to their own style. Yeah. And so they've been pushing that for decades, of course, and it's trickled down into the Black communities, the kids, and all of that. So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I just love, there's been like different shows and different movies that you can watch, but I love the fact that if you really learn the history of it, like you said, it started off in Africa. And even when we were brought over here to America, or when you think about the Caribbean, or you think about South America, you think about all of the places that a lot of Africans were brought to, it is a tradition that has still stayed throughout the test of time. We may not know our dialect. We may not know where we're from, what part of Africa, or anything like that. We may not be able to speak a language, but it's something about that step. And I love it because if you've never been to a step show, it is truly an experience. It's almost euphoric.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
And when you feel it, it's like something in you. And I really believe it's like embedded in our DNA.
It must
You know
be.
what I mean? It has to be. Because it brings everybody together, and it just does something. There's something about that rhythm and that pulse that just gets you going. It's like, oh my gosh. And, you know, I'm so excited that, you know, that you are continuing to do this. Tell me about the correlation with the MLK and doing it around that time.
Okay, well, this specific step show, it's high school. Those are who high schoolers are competing, and their rules are that they have to incorporate something about MLK, about Black history, or about positivity as a whole, something that promotes that. They're not allowed to tear down any of the other schools. They're not allowed to. There's no vulgarity allowed. It's really the step show itself, I feel like, is carrying on his dream.
Yes.
Like, to promote the positivity and to bring the community together in this beautiful way.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think it fits perfectly just in that, what they're required to do. And then the crowd itself is always so supportive. Like, it's crazy. You're competing with each other, but you still love each other. You're still representing each other. Like, it's beautiful. It really is.
Yes. And you know what? I'm going to bring my kids this year.
You should. It's awesome.
I want them to get an opportunity to see it, you know, and to experience something like that. Okay. So, being a little girl growing up, did you ever decide that you wanted to step?
I tried to step in middle school, but it always conflicted with basketball.
Oh, so you a hooper?
A little bit. And so I could never actually go down that path because I already had after school practice doing something else.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then in college it wasn't. I tried out for a team and they said no. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'll stick to my talents. That's okay.
Yeah. So tell the world about you. Who is Jasmine?
I am a UT graduate. Mechanical engineering.
Wow.
I'm currently an engineer in Austin. I come back home when I can, visit my dad and them. I promote the MLK Step Show. That's what I do. Yeah.
Mechanical engineering. What's that like?
It's not as hard as it sounds. It
sounds hard.
Yeah, it's not as difficult. It's more math and it's very broad. So I enjoy it enough, you know. It fits my talents and my.
So you
skills.
like math?
I did. I really enjoyed math.
You know, to kind of get out the subject, but I think it's something we do need to talk about. In the African American community, a lot of times math is not emphasized as much. And a lot of times it's kind of hard to get kids interested in science and math. Your mother was an educator. My mom was an educator as well. So education was always very important. It was like going to college was not even a question.
Absolutely.
You know, when you graduated high school, that wasn't anything necessarily celebrated. It was just like, okay, now you go to school, now you go to college, you know, and that's just what that was. What do you think is the breakdown why there aren't a lot of African American kids or, you know, people, you're young, you know, about what you're going to be, 28.
Yes.
So you're young. Why aren't there a lot of people interested in math?
And the STEM in general, science, technology, engineering, math. There's a push towards it now. I would say there hasn't really been previously. It could be rooted in like back in the day. Like I know my grandparents are also educators, my whole family, in fact. And so back in the day, being a teacher was like the top job that an African American could have. So it wasn't like you're trying to go for engineering, you're trying to go for teaching, you know?
That was the glass ceiling.
Right. And it was like, if you're a teacher, that's just, it's outstanding. You're not trying to be a lawyer. You're not trying to do these other things. So I feel like you're trying to inch out of that mentality, firstly. And then math, it can be confusing. I just enjoy math because there's always an answer. Like in the very end, it's very succinct. But if you don't know the rules, it can be very discouraging. And if no one wants to help you, that's the problem. Yeah,
because see, I like math a little bit until I got into like 11th to 12th. And I was like, this stuff sucks. Yeah. Because I think for me, I'm a very creative minded person. And so I don't want to follow the rules. And a lot of times I would have the answer right, but I couldn't really show you how I got it.
Show your work, yeah.
And so there would be an issue. So my teachers would take off and I would be mad because I'm like, well, I figured. They're like, I don't know how you got the right answer. I see you got the right answer, but I need you to follow the steps.
Right.
So I think that does, I think math can help you with discipline though. Because
absolutely.
You have to follow the steps. So you take that and you put it into your job. So you're a mechanical engineer. What do you do? Like, what is that like?
So, I mean, at my particular job is a manufacturing company. So it's more not construction, but building pieces to sell to larger companies. So if for some reason the part isn't working or the techs can't build it correctly, we have to figure out what's wrong with the design and get it redesigned so that it's correct. So
it's a lot of thinking.
It's a little thinking. My brother describes it to my nieces as building Transformers, like I
like Transformers.
Yeah, like the movie. That's how he describes it, and I was like, okay, I'll go with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of like that. So we don't really sell to like the masses. Like I wouldn't be able to go buy it myself, but we sell to the big companies that sell to the masses, like like Samsungs and the Intels and those.
Oh.
So it's kind of like something you would never see, but something that matters a lot.
Matters a whole lot. A lot of times the stuff behind the scenes is what's most important anyway. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back with Sundays at the